Hey everyone, it's Bryce here at my shop, Raymond Music, and today I have kind of an overview and short review of the Raymond Musical Instruments RMAS-100 model alto saxophone. So this is from the Raymond Musical Instruments line of instruments, which is one that I sell here at the shop. It's my brand for the store. And this is kind of our entry-level, student-level saxophone. Of course, it's appropriate for any level, but mainly aimed at people who are looking to begin playing saxophone or are students needing something that, will work really well for them and is more affordable to start out with. So let's go ahead, punch in a little bit closer, and see what it's all about. All right, before we take a look at the instrument, let's take a quick look at the case. Just to preface this case might change over time. I'm always looking for better options or different options to include with these instruments. So sometimes when I get a different model option from the factory, I'll end up picking up one of those instead of the standard one if it's not available. So just want to put that out there. If it changes, of course, I'll put pictures and things on the website, but it'll at least be very, very similar to the case. So let's take a quick look on the front. We've got our music pouch, so you can put your sheet music and things in here, other accessories. On the inside, got our cutout for our saxophone and our neck, small compartment for accessories, and then our mouthpiece holder here. And it does come with a mouthpiece, but I'll be honest, these are just okay. I recommend upgrading to a different mouthpiece to start out with. I mean, for basically any instrument, any beginner, I recommend the Yamaha 4C to get started on. They're not terribly expensive. They work very well, and they're just a great all-around mouthpiece to get. So I would recommend getting one of those to start out with, but this one I do include them and leave them in there just because, they do work fine, and it might be, good for you to get started on. And, basically a free mouthpiece is a free mouthpiece. So might as well throw it in there. You can save it for a rainy day, keep it as a backup, that kind of thing. But I just want to put that out there. And then we've got our main carrying handle up top. A couple of loops for, your shoulder strap there. On the back, backpack straps, always nice to see, and then this is a cover for those if you don't want to use them. And on the end, we have a handle on the end there to pick it up with. All right, now that we got that, let's take a look at the instrument itself. All right, so here it is, alto sax. Like I had mentioned, this is from the Raymond Musical Instruments line that I sell here at the store. And so these ones are, made for me to sell, specifically my brand to sell at the shop. And the big thing, the big selling point is really that I look all of these over in the shop. So basically, I, take them out, give them a look over, adjust anything that needs to be adjusted so that it works properly, and then give it a play test before putting it up for sale. So of course I do that with any instrument that I sell here at the store. But that way, if you're getting an instrument from me, it's been looked over, checked, and play tested so that I can make sure it's in working condition. I do that all, prior to even putting it up for sale. All right, well, let's look at a little bit closer at some of the things on this instrument. One thing you might notice initially is the color. So the lacquer is kind of a like a darker gold color lacquer rather than something like the kind of bright yellow gold lacquer you normally get. So here's an example of that. You get kind of a nicer dark gold tint, which I really like. I just think it looks super slick, really cool. So that's kind of a nice little feature that it just looks, very nice. Got a nice coat of lacquer on it. Some of the other stuff we've got, the keys here. So you might notice this kind of J-shaped front F there, and it also features a high F sharp key, and this is kind of a rounded rectangle, which is, these keys are reminiscent of, Yamaha saxes, which is one of the features of this is that it has kind of Yamaha-inspired keywork. So it's very similar, in the shapes of the keys and the ergonomics of it all. Of course, I'm a big fan of Yamaha saxophones. I think they're great instruments, and so it was great when, I had the option to use kind of Yamaha-styled keywork. I was like, yeah, of course, let's do that. I love to have an instrument that feels great in the hands and everything. And so, that's another big plus is just the ergonomics, the way it sits in the hands. It's pretty comfortable. It's easy to get around, that kind of thing. And it really makes a big difference. It's not something that you think about all the time, but it really does, just make it that much nicer to play if it just kind of sits well in the hands there. So that is a big plus as well. Something else that is, again, not necessarily the instrument, but something that I do here at the shop. Like I mentioned, I give all of these setups and things, and one of the things I do is I lighten up the spring tension on the keys. I see a lot of instruments, from all sorts of brands that come with really heavy spring tension on the keys, and so the keys take a lot of force to push down. I'm just not really a fan of that. I like them to be, a little bit more responsive. I want them to be to move nice and snappy, but not take a gorilla grip to get it down, get the keys down there. So I lighten up the spring tension on all the keys to make it just a little bit snappier. So that's something that, again, not necessarily specific to this instrument, but is really nice to have, in one of those, again, little things that really adds up. Some of the other stuff we've got, you can see we've got a metal thumb hook. Some people like the metal over the plastic. That's something there. Our regular keys, of course, the logo I showed earlier. Around the back, have some engraving, just your regular floral engraving. Looks really, really nice. The other thing, this tilted pinky table is what they call it, because this B flat key kind of tilts downwards rather than just going straight back. And that makes it a little bit more ergonomic to get that low B flat out there. So that's kind of a modern setup. That's nice to see there. Top keys here. We do have a lyre holder, so if you're doing marching band or pep band and you have a lyre, put that in there, hold your sheet music. Do have an option for that. And then the neck here, pretty standard. So there we go. So yeah, these are just real nice instruments to get started on. Again, great for all levels, but I specifically want to aim these at beginners and students who are getting playing and need an instrument to get started on. So along with that, the other really big selling point is the price. So the price on these is $600, and I was kind of aiming for that to be, the middle ground between the total cheap instruments that you might see on Amazon or something like that. And I'll just tell you, those ones, they are not good. I've seen a lot of them. I've fixed a lot of them. I've played a few. They're just straight up not worth wasting the money on. So I wanted it to be better than that, not the definitely better than a lot of those instruments. But it's not as expensive as, say some of the name brands, Jupiter, Yamaha, that kind of thing. I wanted it to be kind of in the middle so that it was really affordable to, more players, so that we could just get an instrument in people's hands that will work well and, sound good, play good, that kind of stuff, and will work for them for a number of years to get them started playing. So anyway, $600, I think it's really hard to beat at that price. Even on the used market, a decent say used Yamaha or Jupiter could go for $500 or $600, and then of course you might end up having to pay a little bit extra to end up getting it fixed or adjusted and that kind of thing, and it's always can be a bit of a gamble and that kind of thing. So I think it's just a real great option to have, to know that it's, again, been looked over, adjusted, it's ready to go out of the box, and at $600 I think it's a really great value proposition. And again, that was kind of the goal, was just to get instruments in people's hands and get them playing. All right, well, let's go ahead, put a mouthpiece on this thing, and give it a quick play test and see how it sounds. All right, there you have it, the Raymond Musical Instruments RMAS-100 model alto saxophone. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that, learned a little bit of something, got some info that you were needing. Of course, I'll leave links in the description down below to my website where you can see some more pictures of this and the description that I wrote there, and then also purchase it if you're interested. And of course, if you're in the area, I'm in the Santa Barbara, Goleta, California area where I got the shop. Feel free to come by, give this a test yourself, and see how it plays. You can, come give it a look. And of course, there's all sorts of other fun stuff for you to check out as well if you're coming down. So with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.